তোমরা দুজন জয়েন করো দুজনকে জয়েন করো আমার কথাটা শুনতে পাচ্ছ না ক্লিয়ারলি ওটা সেটাতে স্পিকার নেই ভিতরস্থায় করেছে আরেকজন কিছু শুনতে পাচ্ছ ক্লিয়ার ক্লিয়ার না তবে এখন কতজন শুভঙ্কর স্যারকে জয়েন করিয়ে নেবো জোয়ার দাসে জয়েন করি নি
মৌমিতা মমনদা
হ্যাঁ স্যার
আমি অডিবল
ইয়েস স্যার অডিবল স্যার
ঠিক আছে
যখন চেঞ্জ করছে তখন হচ্ছে ভাজা গ্রিন।
হ্যাঁ স্যার, হ্যাঁ স্যার। হ্যাঁ, হ্যাঁ। হ্যাঁ, 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 হ্যাঁ। না, না, এটা তোমার বিএসএনএল থেকে করেছে।
ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে
86370।
Okay, very good afternoon to all of you. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all. First day, online 1 week faculty development program on innovation, entrepreneurship, IPR from 11th May to 15th May 2026, organized by the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, activated by NBA Tier 1 in association with IQAC, Golden School of Technology, NAC accredited Grade A institute in West Bengal. On behalf of the organizing committee members, myself, Dr. Momita Das, Associate Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Golden School of Technology, I extend a warm and welcome our respected resource persons, all the faculty members from different institutions, our deans, all the participants in attendees, and all our dignitaries. This FDP has been organized with the objective of enhancing knowledge, sharing innovative ideas, promoting academic and professional growth. Over the next 1 week, we are confident that the sessions, discussions, and interactions will provide learning experiences for all the participants, the different resource persons. So I hope this FDP becomes more platform for the inspiration, collaboration, and skill enhancement. Let us make the best use of this opportunity to learn, exchange ideas, and grow together. So once again, I welcome you all and wish you all the participants for productive, existing, enriching work with in this week ahead. So now I cordially invite our respected ACIE, School of Computer Science, Electronics and Informatics at Advanced Technology, Professor Dr. Shubhankar Dosha, to say few words about this session. So your inspiring thoughts and encouraging words will motivate our participants and create a positive atmosphere for the session. So sir, please come forward and few words about the session.
Thank you, Momita. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon to all. Respected our resource persons, faculty members, researchers, and dear participants. I warmly welcome our eminent speakers and experts who have kindly agreed to share their valuable knowledge and expertise with us. Mr. Debojyoti Roy, data scientist, TESCO, Onimes Dr. Professor Durgapur, Dr. Raju Haldar, Associate Professor IIT Patna, Dr. Devashish Das, Professor Macaut, Mr. Saurabh De, Associate Director, Deloitte, UK. It gives me immense pleasure and honor to welcome you all in this faculty development program, innovation, entrepreneurship and intellectual property rights. At the outset, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the organizers, coordinators, and supporting teams whose dedicated efforts have made this program really possible. Today we are living in an era driven by ideas. Creativity and technological transformation, institutions of higher education are no longer confined only to teaching and research. They are expected to become centers of innovation, incubation, and societal impact. In this context, innovation and entrepreneurship play a really pivotal role in transforming the knowledge into practical solutions and sustainable enterprises. Faculty members are the true catalyst of this transformation. These ideas nurtured in the classroom and laboratoried and can become future technologies, startup and solutions to real world problems when guided by motivated visionary teachers. Therefore, programs like this kind of FDP are extremely significant as they help us understand the evolving ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurial development. Another equally important dimension is intellectual property rights. In the modern knowledge system, economy protecting innovation is important as creating it. Awareness of patent, copyright, trademark, design, technology transfer, mechanism empowers academicians and researchers to safeguard their creativity and research contribution. This is one of the most important part. A strong understanding of IPR also enhances institutional research quality and promote industry collaboration. What I believe this FDP will provide an excellent platform for all participants to explore the emerging innovation and startup culture, understanding entrepreneurial opportunities in academia and industry, gain practical exposure to IPR feeling and management process, and develop strategies for promoting research, commercialization, and technology development. I encourage all participants to actively interact with the expert, exchange their ideas, and utilize this opportunity to strengthen their academic and professional capabilities. I am confident that the deliberations and discussions during this FDP will inspire all of us to think creatively and innovatively and contribute meaningfully to nation building through education, research and technology development. With this word, myself, Dr. Joar, once again, welcome everyone, and wish the faculty development program a grand success. Thank you all. Thank you, Momita.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing lot of information with us and with the participants also. Now I would like to welcome our respected Dean, School of Engineering and coordinator of IQAC Advanced Technology, Professor Dr. Dilip De. Kindly come forward and deliver few words about the session. Your valuable insights and motivating words will greatly encourage the participants and set of positive tone for the session. Sir, over to you, sir.
Madam, I am audible?
Yes, sir. You are
Okay,
audible.
okay. Respected Dean, Professor Swampa sir, respected HOD, Computer Science Engineering, Professor respected convener, respected co-convener, respected faculty members and their participants. Good morning all. It is my immense pleasure as a IQC coordinator will come you all to this faculty development program organized by the Computer Science department on the theme innovation, entrepreneurship and IPR. Basically, I'm not background of the Computer Science department, but I can say something that in today's rapidly evolving the technological landscape, innovation is no longer an option; it is become necessity. Education institute, especially technical institute, play a crucial role in the nature of creativity thinking, research aptitude, and problem solving abilities among faculty members, others. The strength of the institute lies not only in the importing the knowledge, but also transferring ideas into the impactful solution for our society. Another term is entrepreneurship. It is acts as a bridge the innovation and social application. Many groundbreaking ideas remain confined the laboratories and classroom because they fail to reach the stage of implementation. Through the entrepreneurship, innovation and innovative concept can transform into startup products and sustainable entrepreneurship that contribute to economic and employability generation. As educators, we have a responsibility to inspire our students and allied faculty become job creator rather than merely job seeker. At the same time, the importance of that intellectual property rights cannot be overlooked. In the knowledge economy of the first 21st century, protecting creativity and innovation is extremely important. Patents, copyright, trademarks, and design rights safeguard the hard work and originality of the innovators and researchers. Awareness of the IPR not only protect the intellectual assets, but also motivate researchers to pursue quality research with confidence and recognition. As from the internal quality assurance cell, it is always academic excellence, research culture, innovation ecosystem, and industry interaction as essential component of quality education. Programs like this FDP are significant because they provide platform for knowledge sharing, interdisciplinary collaboration, and professional enhancement. I firmly believe that this type of program will enhance our understanding and motivate us, integrate innovation and entrepreneurship into the teaching, learning, and research activities. I express my sincere gratitude to the organizing committee of the CC department for taking this excellent initiative. I also heartful thanks to our distinguished speakers and experts who have kindly agreed to share their valuable thought in this program. I am confined that all the participants will actively engage in the session and benefit from this FDP. Let us work together to build up the ecosystem that protects creativity, innovation, and critical thinking as well as startup culture. With this word, I once again welcome all of you, and use the program as a grand success. Wishing you all productive and insightful learning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your words with us and with all the participants. Now I sincerely request our head of the Department of Computer Science Engineering at the Institute of Technology, Professor Dr. Pinaki Machacho, to share few words with all the participants before the commencement of the online faculty development program. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Momita madam. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
Okay. So good afternoon to all respected dignitaries, distinguished speakers, faculty members, researchers, and dear participants. It's a matter of pleasure to welcome you all faculty development program on innovation, entrepreneurship, and intellectual property rights, organized by the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Institute of Technology, in association with Internal Quality Assurance Cell of the Institute of Technology. I want to say in today's evolving technological world, innovation has become the key to progress and develop. Along with innovation, entrepreneurship is very important as it enables individuals to convert ideas, technical solutions, startups, and successful entrepreneurship that generate employment and contribute to the economy. At the same time, intellectual property rights (IPR) play a crucial role in protecting the hard work and creativity of innovators and researchers. Proper knowledge of patents, copyrights, trademarks in safeguarding innovation and encourage ethical research practices. I strongly believe that this ability will provide an platform for knowledge sharing, interaction, experts, and learning about emerging opportunities, innovation, and entrepreneurship and IP. I sincerely congratulate the organizing team for arranging this program and extend my best to all participants for a fruitful and enriching experience. Thank you, and wishing the program a grand success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your words with us. Now, I welcome our honorable research person, Mr. Debojyoti Roy. So, Mr. Debojyoti Roy is an applied data scientist working at Bangalore, which is the largest retail store in the UK. Prior to that, you worked at PwC as an AI engineer, working as a consultant for 500 companies in AI adoption and use case discovery. He completed his master's in engineering from Jadavpur University, Kolkata, in computer science engineering, specializing in computational biology and transformer-based learning. We are very much honored to have you as a research person for this today's session. I kindly request you, sir, to initiate the session and share your insights with the participants. So kindly, platform is yours. Over to you, sir. So you can start the session, sir.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So I would like to thank everyone, faculties of the Institute of Technology, and I would also like to mention Mr. Pal, who has actually reached out to me for this session. I have known Mr. Umesh for quite a long time now, since our university days. First of all, I would like to thank everyone and wish everyone a very good afternoon. And the initiative that the technology has taken for this entrepreneurship-oriented kind of faculty development program, which is kind of the need of the hour at this point. So our technology landscape is changing drastically. And we as the industry people as well as the academia people needs to go hand in hand, collaborate as much as possible, so that we can actually contribute better to our ecosystem, our tech ecosystem, and not just tech ecosystem as an industry, as a country. We can encourage our students and the next generation. So having said that, I have actually prepared a very brief presentation on which I would like to go ahead and have the discussion today. So let me share my screen, and let me know if my screen is visible. Please let me know if my
if
screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's visible, sir.
Okay. Thank you. The topic which I actually wanted to discuss is entrepreneurship oriented research and in Gen AI. So right now the talk of the town that we as industry professionals and the academic people, everyone is talking about this generative AI and how it has disrupted our entire industrial ecosystem from writing formatting emails to doing any kind of work in today's market and today's industrial scenario. We use the help of we take the help of generative AI. So what are various kind of opportunities and what are the various frameworks which as academia person as people from the research community can do to kind of commercialize those research to make that research much more useful to normal users and reach out to as many people as possible, make some impact on ground. So having said that, I would like to proceed with this session. So today's agenda that I'll be discussing is first of all start with a brief introduction on why are we discussing this today and why this topic matters now. And then I'll gradually move towards the academia industry gap, which has been there for like it's not a one day thing. It has been growing through like 5 years, 10 years, decades. It has been there. So there is a academia and industry disconnect, which is very much visible in today's industrial ecosystem when we go out for hiring students and when we go out on other interviews, we see that there is a academia industry gap where the students are not well versed with what is the need of the hour. Then I'll be discussing on the part of curiosity to commercialization. That is how researchers can actually go ahead and commercialize and make products out of their research. And I'll be discussing some frameworks, what are the technologies that researchers can use, and I'll be discussing three particular use cases from various industries, from retail where I am from, and I'll be discussing use cases from pharma, from finance. So like this, I'll be discussing a few practical use cases based on which the industry is currently moving, and based on which a lot of fundings and lot of kind of development is going on currently. And I'll be discussing at the end little why India is the right place to build at this point, and what are the action plans for faculties, certain things that we can avoid, and maybe we can go ahead and have some Q&A session. If that being said, so like I already had a huge introduction. Thank you for that. So like a little bit on myself. So as the host already mentioned that I am already working in Tesco Bangalore. So it is one of the largest retail based analytics company. So it's a retail chain, and I work at the analytics wing of that company. So Tesco, I am working for the last 6 months, and before that I used to work for PwC where I worked with various Fortune 500 companies as a AI building Gen AI products, like production ready Gen AI products are scalable. And prior to that, I hold ME from Jadavpur University under Professor Ujjal Maulik and Professor Shangamudra, the ex-director of ISI Kolkata. So that being my introduction, why this topic matters now? Like why are we discussing generative AI every day? For the last 2-3 years now, generative AI has been a mainstream topic. So one key aspect I want to discuss, like in 2018, research paper came out of Google Research, which is called Attention is All You Need. So that was basically that paper basically gave a breakthrough impact of transformer-based learning on our day-to-day natural language processing, text generation, and image generation. In short, like content generation based on your content generation based on your memory. So what initially tried to say is that you can generate new content based on prior learnings that you already have trained in your model. But that was just a paper. But the real impact of that paper came out in November of 2022, when we first got introduced with ChatGPT. So when ChatGPT came out in 2022 November, that is the point when people started going back to the research that happened in 2018, which was like attention is all you need. And the impact of that paper was visible to the entire world. What I'm trying to say is that the impact of papers is visibly seen when that paper is transformed into a product that touches the lives of millions and billions of people. So this topic matters now because researchers today needs to understand this one thing that papers are good, publications are definitely necessary, and it gives you relevance in the research community. But until and unless you start moving from papers to products actually touch the lives of people, that's when the value delivery comes into picture, and that is where this session will help you in attaining that knowledge. So moving on. So like I was saying, there is a stark academia industry gap. So how is that academia industry gap visible? So what I have seen, I have spent a little bit time on doing being part of the research community myself. So in my days of research, I have seen that people are restricted their research to notebooks, to experimenting on a toy example, or experimenting on data sets that are not real world data set. So often the data collection that is being done on a very small example or a particular criteria. So the experiment is good, results are phenomenal. The real world adoption is not there. The code is not ready to be deployed somewhere. It is not readily available as an application for the normal users to experiment, find flaws in it. So it is being tested by a handful of people who are publishing in peer-reviewed journals and conferences. So even those places, what happens is a few handful of academic people are testing your product, and that's the only validation that you are getting if you are doing a research based out of a notebook or simple example like using any dummy data set. But real challenges happen when you start scaling that product. What I mean by scaling is when you start building an application and hundreds of people, like thousands of people start using those applications. So that's where the publication the focus more on publications and less on products. So publications like I said, good, necessary to being relevant, keep your profile and keep your reputation at the highest level. But also if you are building a product will actually create value, and that will actually help you deliver the impact. So the industry collaboration that I have personally experienced is quite limited. So when we have seen people doing research, so either the research that is being done that is not the kind of research what industry is kind of having right now. So by industry collaboration, what I mean is people should addressing the pain points of companies of various sectors, be it retail, be it finance, be it any other domain. It can be anything. the main concern should be the pain points what you are trying to address and what value does it create. So that's where one gap is there. So right now, even though I have seen many researches going on like image segmentation, image classification, but these problems are already solved. So resolving or rebuilding the wheel doesn't help like build products or doesn't help the research community go ahead. So what we should be aiming for is how can we commercialize already progressed research, the research that has already been having some progress. How can we commercialize it? We don't have to go from zero to one in every research. You can also take the already created research and try to commercialize it. That's where the entrepreneurship mindset comes in, and that's how like the industry grows, the community grows, and opportunities thrive in. So I believe we all know what generative AI is, but still I'll be talking a little bit like a very brief introduction on what is generative AI for those who are not from a CS background, or those who are not much aware of what generative AI is. It's basically a machine learning, a black box model. Generative AI is basically a black box model which actually creates content based on information that has been provided to it. So generative by the name it says that something that creates, and most like in today's world it creates more than just text. It creates codes, images, and it is very useful automation tool in today's world. So a key technology that is part of generative AI is large language models. I believe everyone has heard of it. Large language models. There are large models as well. Agents, and they are capabilities. AI generated videos, even flyers. It is helpful assistant tool that we use for automation and reducing the manual effort that we do in our day-to-day life using like generative AI. So the presentation that I am presenting right now, that is even part of a generative AI like tool. So this is how it actually optimizes your workflow. It optimizes your time and helps you grow better as an engineer, as a researcher. So there is a common debate that is going on for decades now that AI will be replacing humans, and your efforts are no longer required. So I personally do not believe that. Even a lot of industry people do not believe that. People in the industry are actually moving from building everything from scratch to move and AI, trying to integrate AI into their daily individuals are trying to the learning groups, the students who are the current generation, they are also coming up and trying to integrate AI as a part of their daily life, not just copying code or like not just vibe coding, like copying assignments. It has much bigger impact than just simple chat generation or text generation. So I'll be discussing a few problems where actually AI is actually helping the AI agents, the generative AI, how it is helping solve real world problems. So having said that, I'll be discussing what are the pain points in various kind of industries, out of which here are examples of 5 industries. I have worked in 3 of them, and I'll share few examples on how it is actually the opportunities that are the opportunities are there, the pain points are there. Industry is widely funding research who are actually solving these kind of problems. So first, in retail, where I am currently in. So in retail, a major problem is demand forecasting, pricing and optimization, and like pricing and promotions which go hand in hand. So what I mean by demand forecasting is, like, every one of us know what is a retail chain. Like, we all have Reliance, we all have big bazaars and smart bazaars, all that things in our localities. We have retail stores always have this inventory problem. Like, what should be the inventory count, how much inventory one should expect or one should keep, and what are the like how much stocks we should keep. And there has been forecasting models available for 20 years now. Like, there are regression based models, there are Bayesian statistical models, there are time series based ARIMA models, profit models. So there are a lot of models that are readily available. But when you are trying to pitch this to a stakeholder or a business person, they are not that capable enough to go ahead and understand the mathematics behind that particular problem. They are not interested in knowing, like, hey, I have tweaked this equation and I have done this and that. So people from the business point of view, they are interested in knowing what is the causality of that particular problem. Like, if a demand is very high and we have under predicted the demand, why has it happened? So that interpretability, that explainability, that needs to be always be present. That's where your AI agents and this generative AI comes in. So what we at Tesco try to do is, we already have this demand forecasting pricing models that readily runs every day, every week. And what happens is, when we go and present it to a stakeholder, we don't give them a chart that see this is the demand chart and this is what we have actually sold, or what this is the sales. We don't do that. We rather integrate a chatbot who is actually capable. The chatbot is capable of giving insights out of the data. So we feed the chatbot, which is inherently a generative AI application. We feed that application with the data that we already have generated out of our model, and we try to incorporate the LLM on top of the data, so that a business stakeholder who has no technical knowledge, that person is responsible for only how much numbers are we generating, what are the sales that is happening. That is how you are delivering value. That's what is the main agenda of integrating generative AI into day-to-day business workflows. Similarly, in healthcare as well, we have AI diagnostics, medical co-pilots. Like, there is a hospital in Chennai who has already applied this. So patients actually go and speak their symptoms to a machine, and the machine does the speech to text translation and prescribes them the uh, medication that is required for that particular disease. This has already been started in our country. It is in a very small scale, but if we can replicate this and we can build on top of this, this has enormous commercial possibilities. This has enormous commercial impact. We can build products on top of these existing models and actually build something meaningful, so that it creates value in the society. Similarly, in education sector, AI tutors, code content generation, like this PPT is also generated so from AI itself. So these things are very common now. In finance, risk modeling for fraud detection, this is where a very vast research is going on in risk modeling and fraud detection. And in manufacturing as well, generative AI is trying to do some predictive maintenance and trying to forecast what would be the demand. So in short, what I'm trying to say here is that generative AI is becoming mainstream. It is not a fancy technology that is restricted to the CS community or just people who are from computer science background or a specific niche. It is becoming mainstream, and it is becoming kind of a tool that is used to optimize your day-to-day workflow, used to optimize your business and create some value out of it. So moving on, what is entrepreneurship oriented research? Now, when I say entrepreneurship oriented research, I mean is like moving from, like I said earlier as well, like moving from notebooks to building scalable products. Like people who are doing research still today in notebooks. Notebooks are good only when you are trying to experiment it in a very small scale. But handling real world problems require much. When you try to deploy it in a production environment, a lot of wise technical choices needs to be made on, like, why a certain technology has been used, why a particular database has been used, what are the pros and cons of using it. So all these system design architectural solution, this architectural decision, that comes into picture when you are trying to build a product out of your research. So what we suggest, like from the our analytics team as well, we first, what we do is, obviously we try to make models out of notebooks. We test those models, and what we do is we do coding on a modular scale, like we do modular programming and every module is tested. And in modular programming, what happens is you get to integrate your models, and you can add or delete your functionality as and when required, and that is like reusable and much more robust. So this is how it actually helps you deploy solutions in a scale where hundreds and thousands of people can use your solution. So what I am suggesting to academics and researchers is that address real world problems, build scalable solutions, not just Jupyter notebooks or something which is on a very small scale. Build scalable apps, deploy it. There are a lot of free like deployment tools. There is a deployment tool, like if you want to deploy it in a larger scale, you can use AWS, Azure. They're obviously they are having free subscriptions as well as paid ones as well. And if you want to use open source like free subscriptions, you can deploy it using Heroku. That doesn't cost a single penny. And what value are you adding with the help of your research? That is one key area where researchers should be focusing on. Like in today's world, if you are discussing or experimenting more on like breast cancer detection, if it is a cancerous image or not, this research has been done for so many years. There are a lot of literature already available. So doing these kind of research in today's world does not add much value. Rather, if you are building a say language model in a vernacular language, like in Bengali, if there is a large language model, that will bring much more attention, create much more value to the ecosystem. That's the main agenda over here. That's what I mean by value creation. So what I was talking about is like the change in the mindset, like from research thinking is like building something new or finding novelty in your research, like based on certain literature. You are studying say 15, 20, 30 papers and finding the flaws or like the gaps in that paper and building something novel out of it. But when you are building something novel out of it, is that even helpful, and what is the impact or what is the quantitative metric? So you have to quantify your research. Like if you are building on something, if you are building a paper or doing a research, you have to quantify that, whether that novelty of your research, how quantifiable it is, how much value does it create. Because if it does not create much value, then its usefulness is again becomes very much like not that much significant. So another point is like accuracy. In research, accuracy is given a very high priority, like how novel is your work, how much accuracy you have done, where you have published your papers, and a much theoretical knowledge. All of that is necessary, but along with that, you have to think about scalability. Think about how you can convert your paper into a scalable product and how you can execute it. Try to reach out to small businesses, medium businesses, try to address their problems. That's when your research and their industry collaboration goes hand in hand. Like people from academia should be reaching out to businesses, asking them for what are the pain points that they are having, and collecting data from them and providing them solutions. In that way, actually, the industry academia collaboration becomes a win-win situation. That being said, I want to give a framework. So before giving a framework, is like whatever I have said till now, like, is there any questions or any doubts or problems that you're facing while understanding whatever I'm trying to say?
So I am requesting all the participants, if you have any questions, please put write down in the chat box. If you have any questions or queries, you can put it in the chat box.
Okay, so I believe this is clear as of now. So let me introduce to a framework which we in industry we have a framework of STAR, which is situation, task, action, and reaction, like response. Sorry. So it is situation, task, action, response. So similarly, when you are driving research from a entrepreneurship point of view, you have something called as RISE, which is research, innovation, solution fit, and execution. So, like I said, like industry and academia collaboration happens hand in hand when you get real world pain points and work on real data set. Like, for example, I worked on a computational biology related data set when I was in my master's days. So I was working on static data sets which are readily available from PubMed and NHS. All those things, they have they have normal static data sets from patients and all. But I also got a chance to work with a hospital chain of France. So there, what I have seen is that the amount of difference in the quality of data is stark. There's a stark difference between the quality of data in real time, and there's a huge difference in the quality of data. What I'm trying to say is that if your data is already pre-processed and data is already cleaned and everything is already done for you, then you don't get that idea, or you don't strike that idea of what is the problem statement, because the data is already cleaned and pre-processed. So if you are not getting your hands dirty with the pre-processing and feature engineering tasks, what happens is that your models doesn't work on a real time or a real world basis, because real data is very dirty. It needs to be scaled. It needs to be, first of all, pre-processed. It needs to be scaled, normalized, and a lot of things needs to be done before you can actually start building models on top of it. So there's a popular thing called ETL: extract, transform, and load. So when we work on any problem, when we fetch data from various sources, it can be any kind of APIs, it can be any databases. So what we first do is extract those data, transform those data out of it, and make meaningful sense of, like, denormalize those tables, and like make those tables into smaller chunks. And then we start working on the building the logic on, like, what are the data, what are the attributes that we need. If an attribute is redundant, we try to remove that attribute. So these kind of feature engineering tasks become very relevant when you start using real-time data set, and then you get the essence of how the real world problem is, what exactly the problems industry is facing. So try working on real-time data set, collect data from businesses who are facing these problems. So reach out to businesses. Like, not every large company are willing to share their personal private data with a academic person. It is not very practical. But a small business, a medium scale business, they will try to, they can help you out on this. And even those problems are worth addressing when you are actually creating value out of it. Now, the second point is innovation. So when we discuss about generative AI based applications or any kind of AI applications nowadays, people think of it as a chatbot or a RAG. So what RAG is retrieval augmented generation. So the idea behind RAG is, so you give that LLM your documents, a data source, and using its own methodologies, it kind of does a question answer based on your document. So it's mostly a document intelligence kind of thing. So, but generative AI applications are way beyond these RAGs. So RAGs are good starter applications. Like I said, like when I present my models or my findings of my, say, demand forecasting in the retail domain, I first of all go and train my model, train whatever output that I have received. I go ahead and train that to the RAG model, and it just gives a chat. It's basically a chatbot. So it answers your question based on like whatever is the business ask over there. But it is the generative AI applications are beyond this RAG. It is implementing agents for solving niche business problems. Like it can actually compute some sales metric or some kind of revenue metric or some kind of drug recommendation. So these AI actually can do today. It is that much powerful today that it can help you with that. So use that AI to automate manual workflows, things that you do on a day-to-day basis that can be automated with the help of AI. So implementing agents to automate, that is where your innovation comes into play. And when you are implementing that, first check who does the solution actually benefit, who is your direct beneficiary and who is actually getting benefited, what value are you delivering, is that product worth commercializing, what are the various kind of industries that product will go and fit into, and what is the risk reward ratio, because LLMs are expensive. They need a lot of memory to compute, they need a lot of expensive compute for training. So when you are spending some money or some kind of resource on it, you should have that clarity, like what is the risk reward ratio, how much commercialize I can make it, and what value it will deliver. And finally, I would say that the execution, when you are building something novel out of your research, you should either make it a IP property, like make it a patent, make product out of it, and apply for grants, apply to incubators who will actually sponsor that research, and partner with industry and tell them that, hey, I am doing this research, this is the problem that I will be solving for you, and this is the novel approach which none of the community is doing. I can help you, and this is a quantifiable metric that will improve your business, and this is how your solution can scale and fit into your business problem. So build a solution that already fits with the existing workflow of that particular company or that particular industry. So that is where your value creation and that comes in. That is how you can measure your execution. So from like research to innovation to finding the right solution which actually benefits the industry, and then executing that, and also copywriting and like building something of your own. Like papers are fine, but if you are building a product that actually creates much more value, that brings you into the notice of others much more quickly. So that being said, like I discussed, so I'll be discussing few use cases where actually generative AI comes into picture, and in retail, what is the use case that you as faculty, as academics can build, researchers can go ahead and build. In finance, what are some of the use cases that researchers can go ahead and build, and same in pharma. So in retail, what you can actually build is a intelligent demand forecasting, and promotion optimization agent. So, as I said, the first step towards any model building, any kind of AI, or any kind of data analytics, anything, if you are building anything today on top of your models, your data should be correct. If and like there is a popular saying these days that data is the new oil. So the data is, if it is not correct, if it is not properly pre-processed and stored in your warehouses or in your systems, then the downstream applications that you build on top of that data, that becomes meaningless. So first step is data collection, and how you are storing it, how you are using that data, that comes secondary. So first of all, in data collection, in terms of retail, you can collect sales data. First of all, that's readily available in a lot of places. You can collect sales data, promotions data, seasonal trends, competitor prices, supply chain data. So when you are trying to build something at scale, so you need to first know the industry, like what are the requirements of that particular industry or that particular company. So when you know that I am collecting, say, sales data of a company, or a promotions data, or like predicting like what are the seasonality trends. So like example, in Durga Puja time, the sale of any retail chain increases, or in any kind of holiday seasons, in Christmas, in Easter, in New Year. So a lot of sales happen during these holiday seasons. So these are some seasonality trends that you need to capture. And also you need to capture what are the competitor prices. So if you are doing this thorough analysis of data, like, and capturing all the necessary steps, that gives you credibility, that gives your solution credibility, that I have built a solution that actually incorporates a lot of pointers, that incorporates a uh, uh, lot of aspects which can create value to a particular business, or can create value in a product. If you are building a product, that product will actually be credible, that certain considerations has been taken, certain steps has been taken to ensure the quality of the product. Second, what I'm trying to say is build a standard model. It can be your normal machine learning based model. You can forecast your data using existing Bayesian tools or Bayesian statistics, or tree based models, or ARIMA, Profit, all these things you can do. And you can forecast your demand on top of that. But where does this Gen AI thing comes into picture? Like I said, when you are presenting it to a user, or someone who does not know what is your product all about, doesn't have a technical background, that person is a very naive user. So if you are trying to address your problem to that kind of user, you need to have a user friendly interface. That's where your Gen AI comes in. So, like I said, the Gen AI has become very mainstream in today's world. Everyone now uses Gemini, now uses ChatGPT. Even students of, like, school students also now use generative AI to like do their school projects. So using that, you can actually make an interface and build a RAG based applications, like retrieval augmented generation, these kind of applications, to kind of make an interface where the user can come and interact with the data. Like, what is the sales of, say, November, or what is the sales in, like, Easter went a few months ago, like Holi, Easter, all these things went 1 month ago. So what was my sales in my last 1 month? So the model will go back, read your forecasted data that you have received in step 2, and come back with some solution, come back with some answer, and actually give you the solution. So this is a very popular use case. If you have, I believe everyone here has access to Amazon application, right? So everyone has an Amazon or a Flipkart app in their phone where you actually place orders. So Amazon has this agent called Rufus. If you open your Amazon app, you will find an agent called Rufus. And what that Rufus chatbot does is, so Rufus chatbot is basically giving your answers based on what you are trying to buy or helping you buy certain products. It's basically an intelligent agent who is actually guiding you to find the best products or recommending you products. So similarly, you can build something like that, which can actually create value and actually add, say, there's a very local retail chain in your locality, whatever that is. It can be anything. It can be a very simple thing like Smart Bazaar or whatever is the local retail chain. So if you go ahead and reach out to these kind of businesses, they actually deliver a lot of impact. They kind of need these solutions. So that's how you can measure or quantify impact when you're trying to reach out to normal users with these applications. And lastly is deployment. Like I said, like notebooks doesn't help anyone until and unless it is a product with a proper interface where non-technical users, naive users can come and interact. You can make dashboards if you are presenting it to some outside stakeholders or some business people. You can build dashboards, but that is on a very high level. And you can again build AI chatbots for decision support and deploy using cloud, AWS. If you want open source, you can deploy it using Heroku, and there are other tools as well. And that technology which you can use for building any application for this is very simple. It's just Python. You can use your database, any SQL or any traditional like OLTP kind of database, which is like a SQL server or a normal relational database. And you can use something like LangGraph or Streamlit for the front end. You can LangGraph to make, if you are trying to build an agent like Rufus, you can actually use LangGraph, LangChain. So, and you need obviously an OpenAI subscription or a Gemini subscription or anything. And I think this kind of project would hardly cost you 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees, and you can build a solution like this on like 1,000 or 2,000 rupees and actually pitch it as a product to some small business. This is how your novelty of research goes and integrates into a real world business. So this is one of the problems in the use case in retail. So anyone has any questions on this particular use case? Like anything, it can be anything. It's very simple questions as well. Okay, I believe it's clear. Then moving on to another use case, which is like generative AI in pharma. So this is a very interesting part because I have personally worked on this, and I'm like, there's this. When I was in my master's days, I was working on this problem, and now it has become a company. So I am very grateful for that opportunity as well. So I'll share that experience with this use case. So it's more of a like I'll tell a very short story and explain what this use case is. So what we were working on is like okay. So if when we were working on this particular data set, okay. So when we were working on this particular data set, like we used a lot of information from PubMed, NHS. So these are in some kind of data that is readily available for the pharma use cases. And drug discovery and research and drug intelligence, predicting mechanism of actions, these are kind of a cutting edge research that is going on in the healthcare industry in pharma. So what is that? Basically, drug discovery means like for any particular symptoms or a particular disease, you don't have to build drugs again and again. You can use like multi-purpose drugs for similar diseases. So that's one part of it. So when we're working with that kind of data set, so what we have observed is that the data which is available in PubMed or NHS websites, these are already pre-processed clean data sets. But when we started working with actual hospitals and tried to gather real-time data sets from hospitals, we collaborated with CNCI Kolkata, Apollo Kolkata. So they have this electronic health records. So we call that EHR. So when you are interacting with those EHR, you see a patient has much complex symptoms, much complex than all your models can be trained on. You see, if you have trained your model on a certain simple stage, like if this happens, you prescribe say medicine X. If the disease symptom is Y, then you prescribe medicine X2. So whatever it is. So what I'm trying to say is that when you try working with real world data sets, you get various kind of complicated data which needs to be cleaned, which needs to be pre-processed, and you need to collect these data from credible sources. Because if you are building something for the pharma industry, you have to take ownership, you have to take credibility, and there is certain level of kind of ownership that is expected out of researchers or academics who are proposing solutions for the industry. So you cannot just go ahead and say that, hey, this worked in my notebook and it is not working now, because if you are working in pharma and your solution doesn't work, that actually kills people. So in situations like this, the accountability is much more. So you have to be you have to be very conscious about your accuracy. You have to be very conscious about what you're trying to build, what is the impact and what is the consequences that can actually lead to. So when we are working on these kind of databases, we actually did a lot of research and we actually stored our data in normal databases, like when we used to work with PubMed and NHS, which is publicly available data. But when we started working with client data like Apollo Hospitals or CNCI, they are not ready to provide their records which we can store, because that are confidential information. So when you are trying to collect information or like information about a person's personal health, then you cannot store those kind of information in a normal database. There you need something like vector databases, which actually encrypts your data and actually stores that data in form of vectors, in form of matrices. So there are readily available vector databases which are freely available. FICE is one of that. ChromaDB is one of that. And if you want to go at a much more enterprise scale, you can use Azure AI Search. And using those data, what you can build on top of that is you can train your RAG-based model, your generative AI application, and you can do a semantic search on the patient's information and the drug information that you already have. Do a research summarization. You can try to do a drug candidate generation, like which drug is specifically useful for what kind of candidate symptoms, and do some trials and see what are the risks that it is trying to mitigate. And finally, if you are trying to deploy this kind of solutions, you have to have human in the loop. Like I said a few examples before, like a hospital in Chennai, like this is a deployed solution that has been there in China for a very long time, and now it is being done in Chennai as well. So the clinics, what they do is, when they are recommending medications after hearing a patient's symptoms, they always keep a doctor in the loop. We call that human in the loop process. So when you are giving information to a sick person, to a patient based on some disease, and you are recommending medicines, so these are some work of some professionals, some medical professionals, people like study for years to earn that degree. And when you are trying to automate that, you need to have some domain knowledge, some domain expertise. So this is called keeping human in the loop. And when you are keeping a human in the loop, what happens is you validate your answers of your whatever research model that you have built. You have built a AI medical assistant which actually predicts your medications for you or suggests you medication based on your symptoms. You need to validate those answers with a domain expert. And what you have to do is you have to give some positive or negative reinforcement based on every correct answer and wrong answer respectively. So like I'm saying that if you are building something in generative AI in pharma, one thing that is you can do is this medical assistant thing. This has huge commercial prospect right now. So a lot of private organizations, private fundings, venture capital is flowing into this particular thing. So in what I have seen, there are a lot of hackathons going on in various parts of the country, Bangalore especially. So in Bangalore, a lot of hackathons go on this particular problem, which is drug discovery and medical assistance. So if you can come up with something like this, always ensure that you have that accountability and there is a domain expert that actually kind of helps you validate whether the answers that are being shown in via your application, those are worth or like that are credible. That's the main moat here. Moving on to a finance use case, it's intelligent analysis and like making intelligent decisions. So the main problem statement here is fraud detection and generating complex financial reports so that it actually slows down your financial risk and actually improves your customer service, automates your customer service, certain things like that. So as I said, like the steps are simple and steps are kind of generic for all the problems that you solve. First, you need to collect real world data, collect and normalize your data first. Like first build schemas and understand what are the various key aspects of that particular business and collect data on top of that. Once that is done, you can start building your fraud detection models and build your credit risk prediction, market forecasting models, which are already there. Like if you have to detect your fraud detection, you have to increase your recall. So all that things you need to do. These are already known research that has been taken place for years and years. But the innovation in generative AI, and if you are trying to commercialize it, if you are trying to make it like a viable solution to naive users, you have to make an interface out of it and maybe summarize a financial report out of it. So if you are trying to build something on top of a financial data set, try to incorporate a Gen AI application on top of it with an interface so that a user can go ahead and search a company name and then read out its company profile performance for the last financial year, and they don't have to know any kind of accountancy or something. They can simply query in natural language and your outputs are generated on top of it. And based on certain changes, certain like niche problems, you can fine tune your model on top of that. So like you can summarize financial reports, you can explain investment risks. So if a particular user is using your financial model, you can integrate a generative AI based model to explain them what are the investments risk if you're trying to invest in this particular company in that particular time. You can actually train your model on Excel, you can train your model on SQL data. You can actually pretty much do a lot of things and the tech stack remains same. So your tech stack would be simple Python, and I believe coding right now is a life skill right now because everyone can do it. It's not restricted to only computer science people. It has been kind of a life skill right now. So after the advent of this Claude Code, OpenAI, like Codex, and like Gemini, people and code and like build models much easily, much faster, and much cheaper compared to like say 5 years ago. And if you are deploying it, try to deploy it in a proper user interface so that it can be marketed, it can be commercialized, and there is some practical users, some naive users or some actual users apart from the research community who are testing your product. So there are events that happen every year. I believe a lot of you might know, a lot of you might not know, Google Summer of Code. What happens in that is many company post their problems in a GitHub account. So you have to have a GitHub account for that, and in that account you have to participate in that challenge. It's kind of a hackathon kind of thing. You actually post your solution for that particular problem, and the company actually calls you or invites you to solve that problem for them for 2 months or 3 months, and there is some commercial aspect as well for that. So participate in these things so that, and encourage students and researchers, and this is not limited to only students, people from industry, people from academia, research, anyone can participate in these things. So try to get insights and get data from these kind of competitions, these kind of challenges. This actually helps building a business acumen on top of your already existing research knowledge. I believe all of you are good researchers, all of you are fine academics, no doubt in that. But when it comes to commercializing that research, that is where like people in India is lacking. So people in India does phenomenal research, but where we lack is the lack of innovation. So we don't have our own, we don't have our own Facebook. So we don't have a social media built on top of our country. So these are some of the options that we had, but we could not do it from our country because we are focused more on publication and building a good research image than actually building products. So that being said, I want to take a moment to appreciate why India is actually leading this Gen AI space. So, like I said, innovation is happening in India. A lot of innovation, a lot of cutting edge research, good research is happening. But we have a fantastic digital ecosystem as well. But what we are failing to do is we are failing to commercialize those opportunities. We are limited to publications and say 10 people are reading our journals, and that is the end of that research, and we are then like moving on to the next step. But actually carrying on with that particular research and building and keeping in touch with venture capitalists, trying to bring in funding, trying to incorporate more and more commercial aspect into your product, that becomes the competitive moat that you kind of get when you are trying to build an application in today's Gen AI space in India. So India is actually leading this space right now. So a lot of service-based companies today are shifting from building a banking software, building a healthcare software, to integrating generative AI into those banking software, integrating generative AI into that healthcare software. And there is a lot of government push as well. There's India AI mission, Startup India, a Smart India hackathon happens every year. So all these things happen every year, and participating in these kind of events becomes much more important today if you are trying to grow from research to entrepreneurship. Like if you are trying to build go through that journey is a steep, it comes with a steep learning curve, but it happens if you keep going through it. It will eventually happen because we have a very strong talent pool and we have a already built-in ecosystem. So a lot of companies are reaching out to service-based companies for like to provide service and kind of to help them integrate generative AI into their already existing workflows. So you as researchers, you as academics have this immense opportunity to actually implement your years of knowledge, years of research acumen into these kind of businesses. You have to find the right place, and you have to network with the right people at the right time so that you can actually capitalize on that moment. So there are some opportunities for faculties which is in the generative ecosystem, is that research commercialization. Like I said, like many times right now, that build domain specific AI solutions. What I mean by domain specific AI solutions is like find one industry, one domain, one particular niche, and try to go deep as possible, and try to find the pain point of the industry, what the industry is facing on that particular domain. Like in retail, I said certain problems. In finance, there are certain problems. In healthcare, there are certain problems. So you can pick any domain and build a product on top of that. Papers are always good, but if you are building your papers into products and you're getting a patent on that particular product, you actually kind of uh, get a competitive edge on that. So having a patented product is much more impactful than having a peer-reviewed journal. A peer-reviewed journal is also good. It is not bad, but it creates much more impact when you have a product which you can showcase. And try regular industry collaboration. Like you can reach out to industries and kind of ask them for real world data set and understand their pain points, what they are trying to address, what are their problems, and try to map your research to their pain points. When that mapping is done, the research pain points and the pain points of the company and your research, what happens is that it becomes a win-win situation. The company provides you with their real data, and you can provide your years of research and valuable research expertise to solve their problem. And that's how you can actually collaborate in a fruitful and in a progressive manner. And the third point is like AI startup mentorship. So AI is not restricted to, like I said, computer science only. It is for everyone. It is democratized, and it is being used by everyone right now, irrespective of their pedigree, irrespective of where they come from, what branch has they studied. So it is democratized for everyone. And mentor students and like appreciating their acumen and appreciating them taking up business risks, taking up risks, and entering a joint partnership with companies, that actually kind of helps create new world leaders, new businesses, and actually helps you guide innovation projects like AI based innovation projects. And obviously curriculum innovation. So right now, if you are still studying on so fundamentals are absolutely essential, but giving much more importance to application based learning, project based learning, conducting hackathons, and encouraging those kind of project based learning, and introducing GenAI focused interdisciplinary programs, that actually helps a lot of students and reaches the mass. Basically what I'm trying to say is that your generative AI or your AI courses will reach the mass, and it will kind of empower many more students who can take up this kind of projects, this kind of initiatives, and take that leap from a researcher or an academic to a successful entrepreneur. And I would highly encourage faculties to come up on various social platforms, talk about AI. So LinkedIn is a very good platform where people actually build and showcase their projects, learn in public. What I personally follow as well is that I learn in public a lot. Whatever I try to build, I try to showcase that in LinkedIn and Twitter. So these are very good platforms. In Medium is also a very good platform where you can actually post your work. You can actually earn your or commercialize your work and try to earn from it. So there are a lot of opportunities where you can speak, you can build communities inside your university or college campuses, and talk about these advancements in AI. What are the new technologies that are coming up? Until and unless the research community comes and hand in hand together with what industry is going forward with, so only then actually the community moves forward as a group. So that is like faculty as thought leaders. So faculties needs to kind of take up much more vital step in like building and speaking in conferences and industrial forums. So there are certain mistakes as well, certain things that are not to be done, is that building solutions without a real problem. Like I said, if you are working on a research problem that was the key research problem in the early 2000s or 2005, that in like 10-15 years or 20 years ago, that does not fit into the business agenda in today's market. So today's industry is actually evolving over AI. Everyone is trying to pivot their company towards AI, try to integrate agents, try to integrate those automation tools into their research. So if you are dealing with something that has been the thing of the past and not right now, so the impact that you deliver, the value that you create won't be that much. Over theoretical research, like a lot of that I have seen is that theoretically they have a lot of research done, but the practical implementation is still not up to that mark. So that over theoretical research is also something we should be avoiding. Rather, we should be focusing more on the practical and commercial aspect of it if you are trying to build something tangible product out of your research. If that is the aim, then you should be focusing more on the practical implementable. So you don't have to always make something new. You can already you can like build something on top of already that has been built on. And like I cannot emphasize more on ignoring data quality. So working on real world data sets is absolutely crucial. Like if you are working on toy data sets or like dummy data, like using 5,000 10,000 records, these kind of data do not fit well in an industrial ecosystem. So in industry, when you start working, you get daily load of 1 million records a daily or even more. So your data quality needs to be checked. You need to have proper guardrails, proper frameworks, like I said, ETL frameworks, where you extract data, transform them into various kind of facts and dimension tables, and then you load them in your warehouse and maintain a proper architecture out of it. And second is validate your product. When you are building something on top of generative AI, you have to have that validation, accountability, and credibility. So like I said, if you are building a pharma-based application, you should have that accountability that whatever your medicine application is predicting or actually prescribing to the through your company or through any other company, you have some accountability on top of that. And like the next point also goes into that, be responsible about the AI that you're using. So with the advent of AI, a lot of unethical things are also increasing. Be responsible on the AI part of it. So do not use AI for the wrong reasons. Try to use it which actually improves lives, creates value, and actually helps like better your workflow, day-to-day workflow. And last point is, don't try to build everything from scratch. What I have seen is that a lot of research communities are trying to build like the ChatGPT is already built, Gemini is already built, Claude is already built. So there is no point in building another foundation models which is just does the same thing. So like if you want to build something like if you know, Sarvam AI is a Indian deep tech company who is actually kind of building multilingual large language models. So if you are trying to build something which is in a vernacular large language model, go ahead, build it. That's the best thing that you can do in the market in today's world. So if you can build something like, yeah, there's a question. Yeah. Shrestha, are you saying something?
Yes, Mr. Mujumdar, if you have any questions, you can questions directly.
I think you're speaking on mute.
Madam, if you have any problem, you can write it in the chat box.
Okay. Okay. So if you have a question, just write it down, or you can just turn on your mic and tell, like anything works. So like I was saying, so if you are building a large language model in a vernacular language, that is the best thing that you can do right now. So a lot of companies are trying to do that. That if you are doing kind of that, then it's fine. But if you are trying to build another large language model in English and trying to build something that already exists, that doesn't help anyone. So these are some of the mistakes or some of the things you should, it's not exactly mistakes, but things that you should be avoiding, because that just wastes a lot of time and energy. So there's no point in doing that. And lastly, I would say that some future scopes and directions like in generative AI. So all these are very known things, and these points itself are a lot of are worthy of another session or another uh, complete discussion. So one or two I'll just touch on, which is autonomous AI agents. So a lot of work is being done in the industry with autonomous AI agents. People are trying to build something which actually helps in automation, which actually helps reducing manual effort, and actually is improving the latency of companies, or the turnaround time of companies in a particular domain. And next is domain specific LLMs. Like I said, like when you are training your large language models on, say, a lot only law databases or pharma databases, then you get good outputs out of it. So these are some cutting edge research that is going on right now in the industry, like building domain specific LLMs, building LLMs which are specifically meant for law firms, which are specifically meant for pharma use cases, which are specifically for retail use cases. So a lot of these LLMs are research on these LLMs are going on. So as researchers, as academics, you can actually take on these research and actually build on top of this. And next is multimodal AI. I think everyone, a lot of you have known that multimodal AI is not just giving, they give texts, they can give images like Gemini. I believe there's a lot of social media trends that usually go on a few, like time to time, like people generate some kind of image, some kind of text, some kind of prompts. So multimodal AI not just generate texts, it also can generate images, videos. So these are mostly multimodal AI, explainable AI, trustworthy AI. So other things, there are a lot of discussions can be done on top of that. But the most important thing is, if you are building something on as a generative AI application, you are building your research or converting your research into generative AI, building applications on top of it, then ensure that you have accountability, ensure that you have that responsible, ethical, like outlook for your application. That being said, I think I am done with my presentation. So if anyone you have any question or want to discuss anything, I can take any questions in the next few minutes.
Yes, dear participants, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourselves. Otherwise, you can put it on the chat box also.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yes, Chai, you can.
Sir, I have a question regarding to make a for the
How to
languages,
make?
Marathi
How to?
language or any Indian language, to make a
Okay.
data set for any Indian language, because any application, any NLP application, the backbone is a data set.
Yeah.
And the problem is that we don't have that sufficient data set, and we lack developing such applications for the regional languages also. So can we, the idea is that from the PG student, can we take it as a project to develop a data set?
Yeah. So one thing, if I understand the question correctly, is that you have some problem with the dataset creation in
Yes.
vernacular language, any kind of regional or vernacular language which is not English. So what I would suggest is there are a lot of freely available websites which you can find in your regional language, whatever you're trying. So if you're trying to build something for a large language model, it doesn't have to be exactly precise and on point with your research. It can be anything. What large language models inherently require is the position of the words in that sequence, right? So that's the very fundamental component of any transformer based model. So if you are scraping out information from a website which is in the vernacular language or any regional language, you can scrape out that information, store it in a normal document file, in a text file. It can be anything. It can be a text file, normal text file. You can, and then on top of that, you can start your pre-processing. So you get what you get is a large chunk of data, and you actually get a starting point to your research. It doesn't have to be like, it has to be context sensitive or something. What you have to do is you have to ensure that the words that you are trying to find out, those are the relative position of the words are correct. So I would suggest that start scraping vernacular websites, and there are multiple scraping tools for that. You can, if you Google it, you will find like web scraping tools which you can utilize to generate your data sets.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Is there any audience? If you have any questions, you can ask directly. I hope so. There is no questions from the audience, sir. So thank you so much, Mr. Roy. The session was very interactive and informative also. We
Yeah.
sincerely appreciate your valuable contribution and insightful session and expert guidance. We greatly enriched the knowledge for the participants and made the FTP meaningful, academic, and the research field also. So
Thank you.
now,
Thank you to all the faculties and the audience for like bearing to hear me for so long. So you can obviously connect with me via LinkedIn or any other platform. So I'm available to connect. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me via LinkedIn.
sir, actually, we express our heartfelt gratitude to your support.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Actually, yes, sir, I have another audience.
Yeah.
Maybe she has one questions.
Sir, is it possible to share the PPT with us? Is it possible,
Yeah.
sir?
Yeah. Sure.
Share the
I
PPT
can.
with us?
Yeah. Sure.
Thank
I
you,
can
sir.
share.
Thank you.
Yes.
So we express our heartfelt gratitude for your support and delivering an insightful session on this topic, and look forward to your continued association in future academic endeavor. And please find this certificate of appreciation as a token of our acknowledgement. This is for you, sir, and we'll forward this certificate to you through email, and we'll be keeping touch in future also for our
Sure.
future FTP, whatever we'll organize. Thank
Sure.
you so much.
I'll be sharing the link of the PPT, and I'll be sharing the PPT in the same email or the CSE HOD CSE email which I have
We will
received.
share that one with the other participants also.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, and one more information for participants. One feedback and attendance link has been shared through this chat box. No link will be shared in the WhatsApp group. The all participants are informing that this attendance and feedback link will be submitted through at 6 p.m. by today. And after that one, no acceptance will be no link will be accepted. That one. And for tomorrow's session will be start at 4 p.m. sir. 4 p.m. sir. And today we are going to close our session for today. Thank you all the participants and our resource person also again. Thank you.